Hello. This is Elizabeth Griffin, the Black Romance Writer, and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, please take a moment to do so and definitely continue to share my content with others. You can also check out my catalog of ebooks and audiobooks. I'm sure there's something there for everyone. I have young adult fiction, I have coming of age stories, I have suspense stories, medical romances. If you can imagine it, I'm sure I have written it. So today I want to talk about success. I have been thinking a lot lately about my writing journey from the very beginning when I was about 7 or 8 years old, when I decided that I wanted to become a writer because I didn't believe there were books out there in the world that were written for Black people by Black people. So at that young age, I decided that I would do it myself. And so I have been on this journey for a very long year, probably about 50 years maybe. So I want to talk about the early 1990s when I published my first book, Naira, and the challenges that I encountered at that time. When I wrote Naira, it was young adult fiction. I wanted it to be published, and I wanted it to be published by one of the major publishing houses. So I sent out query letters telling the different publishers about my book, and I also sent out manuscripts. And for those of you who were writing and sending out manuscripts back then, you know that when you send out a manuscript to a publishing company, if you wanted that manuscript returned, you had to include a self-addressed envelope. So I did that multiple times. And unfortunately, all of my manuscripts were returned to me quite frequently or quite quickly. And there is one letter that I received from Holloway Publishing, which encouraged me and which allowed me to believe that my writing had merit. They sent me back my query letter, but on the query letter that I sent to them, there were notations about the manuscript, which let me know that they read it and that they had considered it and that they wanted me to know how they felt about my writing. And I still have that letter till today. It's in my basement, and I look at it from time to time because it encourages me and it allows me to validate my writing, because as a new writer, you don't know if you're any good. You don't know if what you want to write about or what you have to say will resonate with anyone. It's like you're working in a bubble, and the only feedback that you have is yourself, which is not good sometimes, and your close-knit of friends and coworkers, which in my case have been always supportive and always encouraging. But when you begin this journey, there is so much doubt and there's so many negative thoughts that you can have about your writing, whether you're good enough, whether you're mature enough, whether the subject matter you want to talk about is relevant or something that people are interested in reading. So in the 90s, as I said, I sent out my manuscript and they were returned. And I was forced to realize that the publishing houses were not going to publish my book. And therefore, my writing career was over. And I should start thinking about other things to do, even though writing is my passion. And somewhere in that thinking, I came up with the idea that if no one was going to publish my book, then I would publish it myself. And so I started Xeroxing copies of my manuscript, 8.5 by 11, and had it bound at a stationery store. And then I would go to Black bookstores and present my manuscript. And thank God that Black bookstores do not discriminate against writers, and they accepted my manuscript and they put it on the shelf, and it sold copies, which was very, very encouraging. And this was way before I learned about Dan Poynter and his self-publishing manual, which I still use till today, and it is available at the libraries. I'm sure you can order it. And this book talks about everything from quality of paper, from choosing printers, from choosing paper, formatting, distribution. It covers the whole gamut from beginning to end in self-publishing. It doesn't teach you how to write a book and the mechanics in writing a book, but it tells you how to put a book together and how to market it and how to get it out there. So definitely check out Dan Poynter. He has passed away, but his knowledge and his legacy still live on, and his writing is still helpful to a lot of us out there, new writers as well as seasoned writers. But back to my journey in writing and the fact that I am happy with a lot of the changes that have occurred over the years as far as publishing goes. Because as I said, no one would publish my book, so I started self-publishing it, making copies of the books and taking them to the bookstores. And in doing that, at the time, the bookstores would only take my books on consignment, meaning if that book sold, I would get 60% of the sales and they would get 40% of the sales. And so then I created an address book that listed all the Black bookstores throughout the country. And I would mail out my manuscripts to those bookstores in different states. And I would constantly call to see if my books had moved or if they had made sales. And then I would talk about getting my payment for those sales. So it was a long, tedious process, and it was a costly process. And I didn't make money on some of those books that I sold or sent out to the different bookstores. However, as I mentioned in the past, I've printed about 11,000 copies of Naira and sold them. So I have made money on that particular book, and I'm very thankful. But the self-publishing journey has always been hard. It has always been difficult. And for me, it has always been limiting. But with the advent of the internet and ebooks and audiobooks, the game has changed. So what I want to talk about now is the fact that you as an author can create your own niche. You can create your own lane, and you can produce the books that are dear to your heart, and you can find that audience, and you can publish and present your work and market your work to them. And the journey is a lot easier. And the reason I wanted to mention some of the things that I've gone through in the past and the discouragement is because now you are only limited by your creativity and by your drive. So if you want to be an author, if you want to put out your books, if you want to be successful, it is all in your hands. You don't have to go through a publishing house. You don't have to want someone else to create your audiobooks. You have the capability of creating your ebooks, your audiobooks, your hardback books. You are able to distribute to whomever you want, and you don't have to invest a lot of money. When I was doing it in the 90s, I had to pay setup costs for the printing of the book. I had to pay for the artwork, the cover work. I had to pay for the printing of the books. I had to pay to have the books shipped to me from Canada. I had to unload these books in a residential area on flatbeds and store them in my house. I had to go to different street events, whether I wanted to or not, because I had this product and I had to sell it. So it is so much different now with the internet and with the low setup cost of formatting a book. You don't have to worry about the cost. You can create a beautiful book and you can format it yourself, and you can upload it on Amazon, Smashword, Kobo. There are a lot of different online distribution sites that you can use, and you can promote yourself. Another thing I want to mention is that success for me has not happened overnight. I am gradually growing my platform. I am gradually growing my audience, but I am seeing where I can be. I already know where I came from, but I'm seeing where I'm at and where I can go. And the biggest takeaway, or the most important thing, is to believe in yourself and to believe in your work, and to know that even though today it doesn't seem like you've accomplished a lot, or you haven't reached a lot of people, your work is cumulative. Your actions are cumulative. So the things that you do today, and the things that you do tomorrow, and the things that you do next week, they're going to add up. And stay on social media platforms. Promote yourself anytime and every time you can. Promote yourself, promote your books, promote everything about you, because I'm finding that in being repetitive and constantly putting out audiobooks and ebooks and videos and tweets, and constantly being on Facebook, this allows me to constantly stay in the forefront and to constantly be accessible to people and to have my work out there. On YouTube, I have about 372,000 views, and I have 1,760 subscribers. And on TikTok, I have about almost 1,000 subscribers. So I'm realizing that it may take 3 more years, it may take 4 more years, or things could turn around next month. You never know. But don't get discouraged, because self-publishing now is so much better than when it was in the past. And I'm not frustrated, because in the past, when I couldn't put my work out there, or I was limited in who I could reach, there was a level of frustration and a belief that I'm not going to make it. But now I find my books can be purchased in Africa. They can be purchased in India. They have been purchased in India. They have been purchased in Canada and the UK. So my books are available all over the world, and I am truly, truly thankful for this opportunity. So as always, I'm wishing you love, peace, joy, and happiness. Until next time. Bye-bye.